Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda. When that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was lying on the Garbhodak ocean, entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. Purport. At a certain time, the personality of Godhead, Kripanidhi Vishnu, lies in the Karana ocean and produces many thousands of universes from his breathing. Then he enters again into each and every universe as the Garbhodakshay Vishnu and fills up half of each universe with his own perspiration. The other half of the universe remains vacant, and that vacant region is called outer space. Then the lotus flower sprouts from his abdomen and produces the first living creature, Brahma. Then again, as Shivadaksha Vishnu, the Lord enters into the heart of every living entity, including Brahma. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gītā 15th chapter. The Lord says, I am seated in everyone's heart, and by me are remembrance, forgetfulness made possible. As the witness of the activities of the individual entities, the Lord gives each one remembrance and intelligence to act according to his desire at the time he was annihilated in his last birth in the last millennium. This intelligence is invoked according to one's own capacity or by the law of karma. Brahma was the first living entity, and he was empowered by the Supreme Lord to act in charge of the mode of passion. Therefore, he was given the required intelligence, which is so powerful and extensive that he is almost independent of the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as a highly posted manager is almost as independent as the owner of a firm, Brahma is described here as independent because, as the Lord's representative to control the universe, he's almost as powerful and independent as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord, as a supersoul within Brahma, gave him the intelligence to create. The creative power, therefore, of every living entity is not his own. It is by the grace of the Lord that one can create. There are many scientists and great workers in this material world who have wonderful creative force, but they act and create only according to the direction of the Supreme Lord. A scientist may create many wonderful inventions by the direction of the Lord, but it is not possible for him to overcome the stringent laws of material nature by his intelligence, nor is it possible to acquire such intelligence from the Lord, for the Lord's supremacy would then be hampered. It is stated in this verse that Brahma created the universe as it was before. This means that he created everything by the same name and form as in the previous cosmic manifestation. So here Śrīla Prabhupāda is describing the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. Vidura, we know he left Hastinapur and he's traveling on pilgrimage. The great sage Vidura has met Maitreya. So description here is of the secondary creation. Yasya Prabho Prabhupato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shiva Shesha Vashidari Vibhuti Binam Tad Brahmanishkalam Shesha Bhutam Govindam Adipurucham Tamaham Bhajami. So this verse in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is describing that within the Brahma Jyoti, Lord Kripanidhi Vishnu, all the universes that emanate from him are contained in the Brahma Jyoti. And that within each universe, emanating from the pores of Kripanidhi Vishnu, we find Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lying on the ocean, created by his perspiration, transcendental perspiration. And from his navel comes a creeper which grows up throughout the space of the universe. Our universe is known to be 4 billion miles in diameter. So 2 billion miles this creeper is growing. And on top is the lotus flower from which Lord Brahma finds himself. He's known as Atmabhu, or one who has only one parent, not two parents. He comes forth from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Brahma, he hears tapa and he performs for 1,000 celestial years great tapasya. And he becomes empowered. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaye. The Lord, in the form of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is lying in Svetadvip on the ocean of milk within the Bhumandala, he enters into the heart of all living beings. Sarvasya Shaktir Vividhaya Vashuyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. That Krishna's potencies are so unlimited. He is exhibiting so many potencies. So, in his form as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of Lord Balaram, who is an expansion of Krishna, he enters into the heart of all living beings and accompanies them for billions and trillions of births, if they take birth in this material world. Purusho prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti sadgunam karanam guna sangosa sadasha joni janmashu. Joni janmashu, so many species of life, the soul is going from one birth to the next, taking birth in, coming in from a seed, from an embryo, from an egg, even from perspiration. The living entity is traveling. Purusho prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti sadgunai. Based on his association with the modes of sattva, raja, and tamagun. So this is, knowledge is being given to us by Veda Vyas. He heard from Narada Muni, who was the son of Lord Brahma. And Narada Muni came and explained to Veda Vyasadeva the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic knowledge. Nigama kalpa parur galitam phalam. The ripened fruit of all the Vedic knowledge is to understand our nature and what is our relationship with the source. The summum bonum of everything is Krishna, and our relationship with Krishna. So, this is our concept of cosmology. This is the Vedic cosmology. And Prabhupada instructed us that we should build a large planetarium here in Srila Mayapur and demonstrate within our tiny little universe. Lord Brahma only has 4 heads. Some Brahmas are much larger, millions and billions of heads. So, show the scientists, the foolish scientists, how the universe comes into being from top to bottom. This foolish scientists, they claim that life came from a big explosion. That the universe, there was a singularity, infinite density, infinite temperature at some point. They extrapolated backwards because they discovered the universe is expanding, which is true. Prabhupada Vishnu breathes out the universes and they slowly are expanding. So they extrapolated backwards and came to the point of infinite density and infinite temperature. What's infinity? They have no clue. So they don't, their theory is based on something they don't know. What is that called? Prabhupada said it's called cheating. So these scientists are all cheaters and atheists. Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashitaha kama paboga parama edavat iti nischitaha. Krishna says in the 16th chapter describing the demoniac people. These scientists are nothing but atheists and demons. So chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashitaha. Until the end of life, they're full of anxiety. Everyone is anxiety because they refuse to accept the existence of a supreme divine person, a supreme intelligence far greater than theirs. They refuse to accept this and speculate about how the universe came into being. They have no clue even how life evolved, as Prabhupada would go for morning walks on Venice Beach in Los Angeles with his science disciple, Srila Damodar Maharaj, and other devotees. He'd say, these scientists are rascals. Make life. Show me. Don't give me a post-dated check. Tell me how life came about. So they have no clue. Even today, they have never produced life ab initio, which means just from chemicals, not from boring from nature. So therefore, Prabhupada here condemns them, moga shamoga karmano, moga jnana vicheshitaha, rakshashim asurim chaiva, prakriti mohinim shritaha. That all their fruitive activities, their endeavors, Krishna says, I defeat all their endeavors. Nunam pramata kurite vikarma. They're mad after materialism, material comforts, material inventions, trying to enjoy this material world. But unfortunately, they meet with defeat. Parabhavas tavada bodhajato yavana jigasata atmatadvam. Because they're not inquiring, who am I? How did all life come into being? How did all these species come into being? Is it by evolution, natural selection on genetic mutation? They've tried, but they see that even with genetic mutation, it puts the organism usually at a disadvantage. The people are sometimes mentally handicapped because they have a genetic mutation, or so many things. So this idea of Darwinism, Prabhupada condemned. He said there's two enemies of the world, Marxism and Darwinism. So we know in the Bhagavad-Gītā, Krishna says, Namam duskritina mudha prapadyante naradama mayaya aparita jnana. So these scientists, their knowledge is stolen by illusion. As Prabhupada is saying here, it's not possible for these scientists to overcome the stringent laws of material knowledge, material nature, by his own intelligence. Many years ago, they were saying that we're going to freeze the body of this famous man, Walt Disney, and we will develop the secret of life, and then we'll take him out of the freezer and bring him back to life. So they are bewildered. Ahankara vimudatma. Krishna says vimudatma. They are bewildered, and it's very unfortunate because they're wasting their human form of life. Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashitaha. prashanta kama bhogeshu, patanti narakeshu cho, that their consciousness is deeply sunk in material sense gratification and material possessions. And therefore, patanti narakeshu cho, they're gliding down to the abode of Lord Yamaraj. And, as it says, Krishna says to Arjuna, Tata pralina tamasa mudho jonisu jayate. Those persons who die in a mode of ignorance take birth in the wombs of animals, like dogs, cats, hogs, svavidvara hostakarai, samsuta purusha pashu, nayat karna patopetu jatu nama gadagraja. That those men who are like dogs, hogs, asses, and camels never like to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the light for the entire world, is bringing light to the entire world. It is the force which will destroy Kali Yuga. Nayat Karna Patope, they never want to hear the glories of Gadagraja, Lord Krishna, the deliverer from all evils. Nayat Karma Jatu Nama Gadar, they don't want to hear the name of Krishna. They are envious of the Lord, Krishna says to Arjuna. They're envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead residing within their hearts. Dharma projita kaitravotra paramo nirmatsaranam. Nirmatsaranam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is given without any cause of envy, without nirmatsara. There's no envy. It's pure. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kriyate is given by Vedavyas out of compassion, out of karuna, out of compassion for the fallen souls. It is perfect knowledge because it is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has unlimited intelligence, achintya guna swara, inconceivable potencies. When Arjuna saw Krishna's universal form, he was amazed. All the various gods, all the various planetary systems, everything contained within this two-armed form of Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimat urvitam evava tatat eva vagacha tvam mamote jamsa sambhava. Krishna tells Arjuna, all that you see, all these wonderful glories and incredible beings you see, the Kinnaras, the Vidyaras, the Apsaras, the Gandharvas, the Rakshasas, the Yakshas, all the various creations in this world are but a spark of my splendor. So that is Krishna. Even Lord Brahma went and stole the cowherd boys to test Krishna. Who is this little cowherd boy, you know, eating some sweet rice? Who is this little boy? No. Aishvaryasya shamagrasya firyasya yashasya shriya. Krishna is full of all six opulences: wealth, strength, knowledge, renunciation, fame, and beauty. Everything belongs to him. No one can defeat Krishna. He's indefatigable. Strength, knowledge. He has unlimited knowledge. And he can give us this knowledge to come to him. Tesham vipanukam partam aham jnana jam tamaha nasham atmiyatma bhavasto jnana deepena vasvata. From the torchlight of knowledge within the heart, Krishna is revealing this knowledge. Therefore, Rupa Goswami is saying, Ata Shri Krishna namadi nabhaved grayam indrai sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spuratyada. Shri Krishna Nama, one cannot understand this holy name of Krishna. One cannot understand God with his blunt material senses. As the scientists are saying, show me God. Show me God. I don't see God. Show me God. So we say, if I give you a watch or a clock and I say, tell me the temperature. Can you tell me the temperature with a clock or watch? So you're approaching with your blunt material instruments and senses, material instruments. And Atashi Krishna Namadi, Nabhavet Grayam Indra, with your blunt senses, is called empiricism, reductionism, positivism. You cannot come to the absolute truth. Only by accepting a tattvadarshi. Gnanina tattvadarshinaha, right? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshanti te jnanam. Gnanina tattvadarshinaha. So, if you're approaching the Prime Minister of India, you don't, yeah, show me. Prove it. No, you have to be humble, right? You approach with great humility. I am a tiny speck in this universe. These scientists, they get puffed up with their inventions. Therefore, Prabhupada said, Prabhavanti ugra karmana, they're building big bombs and rockets, shayaya jagato hitaha, to destroy their own civilization. But they're so proud of it. They're so proud of it that they're blinded by their false pride. Krishna says, Dambo darpo bimanascha krodha purushamevacha agyana chabijatasya partha asurim sambhava. That the demoniac people are very proud, dambo, darpo, conceited, false pride, arrogance, harshness, anger. All these qualities are within these people who think, look at us, we made the atomic weapon. Not knowing, as Prabhupada says here, that Krishna, from within the heart, will give you instructions. Oh, you want to be an atheist? Okay, I'll give you Marxism. I'll give you atheism, Darwinism, some idea, some kind of philosophy. And then, Shayaya Jakato Hitaha, everything will be destroyed. So this is the dangerous situation Śrīla Prabhupada is warning in Kali Yuga. This is a very dangerous time. And we should be very careful. In 1 second, Prabhupada said, with Krishna's one finger, he can destroy your New York City. With one little finger, he will destroy your New York City. Just throw it in the ocean. Why are you challenging God? He is so powerful. Prabhavam Shashi Suryayo. I am the light of the sun and the moon. This sun, which is a tiny creation of Krishna, is so powerful. Don't you see that? Unfortunately, they are blinded by the agent of Maya, the personality of Kali. They're blinded by ignorance. And therefore, unfortunately, Tanaham Dushatakuram Samsareshu Naradamam, Krishna condemns them as Naradanam, the lowest of mankind. Shipamiyajashu Ashubam. I cast them into lower species of life. Asurishu Evayonishu. Birth after birth. Very unfortunate that you get this human form of life and devotees are chanting in every town and village. Oh, Hare Krishna, they're so bothersome. Get out of my way. Please, sir, take this book. Prabhupada said, if they touch my book, their lives will become perfect. They don't have to read it. These books are non-different from Krishna. This is the literary incarnation of God. Krishna sent Prabhupada to write these Srimad Bhagavatam, these books, Bhagavad-Gītā, for the benefit of human society in the age of Kali. And Prabhupada always was telling us, even if they read one word, their lives will become perfect. They get purified. He said, this is also Harinam Kirtan. This is Shravanam Kirtanam. This is Sabda Brahman. This is transcendental sound vibration. So when we were very young, we would run out in the streets and give people these books and see how their lives would be transformed. So I was requested to speak a bit. We are focusing on Śrīla Prabhupāda's books for the next few days. And the path of perfection was given to me to speak on. This book here by Śrīla Prabhupāda is targeting the yoga people. The yoga is very, very popular now all over the world. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so many bogus yogis, they go to the West. Bikram's hot yoga. Cheating yogis. Fifth canto, Jada says, a person is suffering so much, and then he takes shelter of a pseudo-incarnation. And he tries to take shelter just like throwing himself off a cliff and landing on hard ground, breaking his bones. So these are cheating people, these yoga people, and they also are telling everyone that they're God. They say that I'm God, you're God, anukulena krishnanu shilanam. They don't explain the practice of bhakti yoga. Yene ravindakshavi mukti maninas tvaidashtabhavat avishuddha buddhaya. Aru krichena parampadam tata patanti ya ado najvita yushmad angraya. So in this verse, Vedavyas is saying that to teach people to become God, they will fall down again and again. There's no way that people with this kind of yoga, even Arjuna said, Yoyam yoga prayat proktam etasman madhusunanaha chanchalat vitstitim stiram. He says in the 6th chapter, this kind of yoga is impossible for me. And how great is Arjuna? He's so great. And Krishna is telling him this process of yoga. You sit in a secluded place, you practice complete celibacy, you eat raw food, some grass, like Dhruva Maharaj, eat some grass, you know. Arjuna is saying, Yoyam yogas tvaya proktam etasmin madhusudanaha. He said, my dear Madhusudan, you know, killer of Mad, this is impossible for me. What to speak of you Kali Yugites, Arjunas from Dwapara Yuga, so much power. So, impossible. I used to attend yoga sessions in my city where I'm from, Canada. And people, they go to meet to have sex life. They do some yoga, then they start enjoying their senses. And I go, this is not yoga. Fortunately, I was seeking something real. Another time, this Maharishi Yogi, very famous man, the Beatles were following him even, so many people, complete Mayavadi, totally like you're God, you become God, Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, everything is false. You simply have to understand you're some Shunyavad, Mayavad. And they were teaching that if you buy this mantra for $250, you'll become materially successful, you'll get so much money, and you'll be so happy. This demoniac mentality, like Prabhupada says, the demons, they're always eager. In this particular chapter, it talks about Lord Brahma producing yakshas and rakshasas and demons from his buttocks, and then he produces twilight. He gives up his body, it becomes twilight. Everything's manifestation of Tamagun. And how immediately the twilight manifests as a beautiful woman, very beautiful woman with breasts and hips and all this. And the demons immediately go after her. But Prabhupada said, devotees are not interested. Yehi samsparshaja boga dukkha yone evate adyantavanta kunteya nate shu samate. Devotees of the Lord, they're not interested in sense gratification, rich man, beautiful woman. These things we have no interest. Janiyati ashu vairagyam jnanam chaya dahoy. Because we have knowledge, and this is the Bhakti Yoga, the path of renunciation of our sense pleasure, sense gratification. We know that dukkha yoni evate, it's a source of misery. And people are mad after sense gratification, and what do they get? Rajasastu phalam dukkam. Nothing but misery. That's all. It's so unfortunate. Jayato vishaya pumsam sangateshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama krodho bijayate. From lust comes anger. Krodho bhavati samoha. People are all bewildered. People go, oh, I want to go to America. When you go to America, you see everyone is suffering from mental health problems. It's stress management, self-help gurus. They have all these self-help guys. Then they give you pills for depression, so many pills and medication, because they don't believe in God anymore. They're not willing to go to church anymore. And the ISKCON, we're buying up all their churches. We have churches all over the West, you know. Dallas, Los Angeles, Toronto, big church. So many churches we're buying. Montreal, so many churches. Because churches are emptying out, unfortunately. Isn't that right, Prabhu? Montreal, he's from Montreal. Nice church. Prabhupada got a nice church. That's where Jayapataka Maharaj took Diksha, in that place. I don't think they got the church at that time. It was something else. So, real yoga, we know, is stated in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gītā, Vijita Majitandriya, that of all yogis, how does that go? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatinam taratmanam shraddhavam bhajate yomam samayuktatamo mataha. That the real yogi is one who develops his love of God, one who engages in Vedi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, and gradually becomes Anurag Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous love for God, described by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is the father of devotional service. This is the only way we can attain enlightenment in this age of Kali, is through this yoga process. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come with all his generals and colonels, you know. They're big generals, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, renunciation personified. They're generals. They're writing so many books. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipano, Sadharma Samstapayo, Lokanam Hita. For the benefit of all human beings, the Goswamis are writing all these literatures for the benefit of human beings. So this is the real yoga process. Unfortunately, the word dharma or religion has become stigmatized. Oh, religion, oh, that's old-fashioned. I'm a scientist. I like science. This is the science of Bhakti Yoga. It transforms our heart by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Nam namakari bahuda nija sharva shaktis. How's that go? Samarchitam niyamitam smaranena kama. Nam namakari bahuda nija sharva shaktis. Lord Chaitanya says, Niyamita smaranena kala. Itadrisam Dudaivam ijusami hajani nanuraga. That by chanting these holy names of the Lord, even we are unqualified, even if we're not qualified, we have no taste for the holy name, gradually we'll get a taste for this holy name of the Lord. Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. Gradually, if we go deep within the holy name, and from the holy name is the fountainhead of Krishna's Lila, his Guna, and his Rupa. So Nam, Rupa, Lila, Guna. Krishna's qualities, his form, his beautiful form, and all of his transcendental activities are contained in the holy name. And the holy name is full of this potency. Nam namakari bahuda nija sharva shakti. So when we're chanting Krishna's name with attention, with intention and attention. Then gradually we'll get the sweet taste of the holy name. Just like now we may have some jaundice, so we eat the sugar and we don't taste bitter. So in the beginning, therefore, we practice this rules and regulations. This is Vedi Bhakti. So here, in the perfection, path of perfection, mastering the mind and senses. So we know, bandhuratmat manastasya yenat mayatmana vitaha. That Krishna is saying you have to control your mind and senses, become your friend. Anatmanastu shatrave, otherwise the mind is your enemy. Mind becomes your enemy. So we have to be very careful, therefore, we get up in the Brahma Muhurta hour, and we also practice renunciation from material desires. We control the material desires. Vishaya vinivartante, niraharasya dehinam. That we control the body, the mind, the senses, in the beginning by rules and regulations. And then rasavarjam, we get a higher taste, and then param, like that. So, in the 6th chapter here, it's being quoted, Yam samnyasini iti prahor yogam tam vidipandavaha nahi asanyasa sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. That what is sannyas, or renunciation of material desires, is the same as yoga. So there's one famous yogi that came to America and he had thousands of millionaires giving him millions and millions of dollars. Completely bogus. You can take drugs, no problem. You can have illicit connections, no problem. And he had over 100 Rolls Royce. And he would dress in diamonds. He'd have diamonds. He's saying, what is this God business? And he wore saffron. What bogus. And all his followers were wearing saffron and carrying this Shiva Raksha beads. Totally bogus. Totally bogus. Completely like Indriya Bhog, you know. So here, he's wearing saffron, but it says here, Yam sanyasimiti prahor yogam tam vidipandavaha. Nahi asanyasta sang. One can never become a yogi unless he renounces desire for sense gratification. So devotees, we try to renounce this sense gratification business. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he exemplified this. First of all, he would lie on the ground on just some banana leaves, dried banana bark. And Jagadananda Pandit would come. Of course, Jagadananda is an incarnation of Satyabhama. So he's always trying to make Lord Chaitanya very comfortable. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lying, and then Jagadananda Pandit took some cotton and made a quilt bed. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu said, oh, I should go and enjoy dancing girls. Why? I am a renounced sannyasi. How dare? And he refused it, you know. So finally, devotees were very concerned because Gauranga Mahaprabhu was so exhausted from ecstatic love of God, his body was becoming emaciated. So finally, Lord Chaitanya agreed to lie on some cotton from his garments, and there were some dried banana leaves inside, and he took that. In this way, Gauranga Mahaprabhu was always exhibiting the behavior of one in the sannyas order. One time he heard a Devi Dasi chanting Gita Govinda, and he thought, oh, this person is so magnanimous. And he was running at the speed of wind towards her, and his body was getting cut by all the branches of the thorns of the trees. And he's running, and suddenly Govinda grabbed him. It's a woman singing. He was going to embrace that person. Thank you so much. So sannyasis, they have to be very careful. We're living in the material world. Balavan pasyamaya yastri mayoja, you know. The beautiful woman is Krishna says, Balavan pasyasi my maya, in the form of a beautiful woman. So when Chota Haridas went to beg some rice from Madhavi Devi, the sister of Sikhi Mahiti, she was completely in understanding Radharani's mood of Mahabhava. She was one of the 3.5 devotees who knew the most confidential aspect of Radharani's Mahabhav. And yet, when he went to beg some rice, Chota Haridas, Lord Chaitanya, okay, you were Machasvashadihitrava naviviktasano bhavet balavo indriyo gramo. Never sit in a confined place, a solitary place, with even your mother, sister, or daughter, what to speak of someone else. So Lord Chaitanya rejected Haridas Thakur. He was ostracized. Chota Haridas. He was ostracized. And of course, he gave up his life. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, this is the proper thing to do. If you're in the renounced order of life and you make a mistake and you set such a bad example, because they are the acharya, sannyasi is acharya, right? So then you should go to Triveni, to Varanasi, and give up your life. So one of Śrīla Prabhupāda's disciples did do that. A very nice devotee. He had a little pause of renunciation, some incident happened, and then he went and gave up his life. Prabhupada said, oh, he didn't have to do that. So, this is the strict instruction of the Lord, because the mind, chanchala himana Krishna pramati, the mind is chanchala. The mind is always the biggest enemy. Therefore, controlling the mind is our priority. That means taking shelter of the offense-less chanting. 10 offenses to the holy name. We have to avoid these 10 offenses very rigidly and go deeply into the chanting of the holy name. And then Krishna, who is the holy name, will grab our mind and purify our anarthas. And we have to pray, please free me from my anarthas. I am the most fallen. I am more fallen than Jagai and Madai, right? This is the prayer we offer. So here I already quoted the next verse, Bandhurat manastasya yena maivatmana jita. It means that you should make your mind by your friend by conquering the mind. Otherwise, your mind will be your great enemy. Maya has so many different tricks, and she works on these things through the mind. The mind is the chief operator of all of the bodily senses. So we can see these chapters are bringing people to understand the real yoga system. And also, I used to, in the youth movement, the hippie movement, we're all trying yoga. And some of my colleagues would start, oh no, I only eat boiled rice all day. That's all they would eat. They'd go through these austere diets. And then their minds would go crazy. Because Westerners, you know, you're brought up with pizza, pasta, cake, ice cream, sense gratification to the limit. They don't know what is tapasya. So one of my friends, we were all young hippie kids, she ended up in the psychiatric ward. And she paid for a mantra. So one day I asked her, what is this mantra you paid for from Maharishi Yogi? She said, no, it's a secret. I said, you can tell me, I won't tell anyone. She said, okay. Maharishi sold me this mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then when I came to Krishna consciousness, I saw the mantra. Well, it's free. In this way, they capitalize on people who are suffering from materialism. And people are, although materially affluent in the West, they're suffering internally. Just like the bird being starved in the golden cage. And they're polishing the cage, driving all kinds of Audis and Mercedes and Lamborghinis and showing off, wearing beautiful clothes, big house. But internally, the bird is starving. No shanti, no sukh. This is the way of Maya. They are suffering like this. And so, Śrīla Prabhupada came. I remember the first time I met Prabhupada, we took him to a big university in America, Oregon University, very big university. And all these yoga people, all these kids came, about maybe over 200 came to the auditorium. And Prabhupada said, you cannot do yoga in this age. You cannot twist your nose and, twist your arms. He said, this is not practical. It's rejected by Arjuna in Bhagavad-Gītá. And here, the title is Moderation. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasya, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogi bhavati dukkhaha, right? So be moderate in eating, sleeping, recreation, activities. This is moderation. Srila Prabhupada would always relish prasadam. He would take it very by himself, and he'd meditate on this Krishna Fela. It is foodstuffs mixed with the saliva of Lord Krishna, Krishna Fela. And he loved prasadam. When the Kaviraj tried to put him on a diet of boiled potatoes, he told Gargamuni, tell your cook to make me kachoris and samosas. This was in like the fall of 1977. He's very thin and sickly, and Kaviraj, no fried food. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj walked in, and Prabhupada and Gargamuni were eating this opulent kachoris, samosas. Prabhupada, the Kaviraj said, and Prabhupada said, we'd rather die than eat boiled potatoes. So yukta hara viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasya, like that. Be moderate. Don't be a fanatic. It will destroy your spiritual life. You cannot practice properly bhakti yoga if you're not sleeping properly, not eating properly. And prasadam is Krishna. You're absorbing Krishna. It is not vegetarian food. It is mixed with the saliva of Lord Krishna. It becomes Krishna himself. So Krishna is so merciful that he's entering into your body and purifying you. So here, this verse I just quoted is there. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Oh, it's time to stop. So we want to distribute Śrīla Prabhupada's books, whether they're small or big, and get the mercy of the Lord. We know that pleasing the Guru is the secret of success, and Prabhupada always emphasized to us, the first time I met him, he came in the airport in Portland, and the first thing he said, you're doing so much Harinam, but I'm translating Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gītā, I'm translating these big books. This is far more important. They hear the Harinam, they go away. They take a big Bhagavatam in their homes and they touch it, they read it, their relatives read it, and it's purifying their entire house. So he emphasized this book distribution. Most important of all different preaching activities is the book distribution. And that was instructed to him by his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta, Brihat Madanga. If you ever get money, so we used to run out the door and collect millions and millions of dollars. And so we were distributing millions and millions of books. Prabhupada said, this is a miracle. Who could ever think that so many millions of religious books would be distributed? Those books are still there in their homes. One day they will read them and become devotees. We just have to be patient. Nischayat. We ought to practice patience. The demons are very stubborn, right? Very stubborn. Mind is stubborn. So, thank you very much, Prabhus. Thank you very much, Matajis. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Hare Krishna.